Hi, this is Investing and Finance, just Joey style, and I'm going to show you a couple things on my account real quick. Well, not really a couple things on my account. I'm just going to show you exactly what I would do if maybe I had 160 grand laying around and I wanted to make some income. I know a lot of people don't have 160 grand, but this is the abundance mindset. You might not have 160 grand right now, but you are going to have 160 grand one day. Not just because you said it, but because you're actually taking control of your finances and doing things that, will give you control of your finances, being accountable for your life and watching your spending and earning more income and, just being an adult and junk. Anyhow, so a lot of people in the market, this is what I preach, is ownership, equity, especially lots of 100 shares. Now, a lot of people think they need to sell their equity to earn money. Not true. Not necessary. So what we're going to look at is if I had, I wanted to look at the technical analysis for a quick second on Palantir. So Palantir, this is the day. I don't really look at the day too often, unless obviously it's a day. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at if I'm trading like a week long option to sell one, I'm going to look at the 1 month chart. If I'm trading a month option, I'll look at the 3 month chart. So this is Palantir's company, Palantir stock over the month. We obviously have a low all the way down at 149. I don't think we're getting back down there anytime soon. But right here is a pretty intriguing line. Got some support resistance here. Even here. So here's like your range right here. 165 to 170. That's where I really like this. And we also have pretty much right where it's at, the 175. Looks like at 175 to 180 is a pretty decent range for this. So if we want to go a little aggressive on a week, we could do like the 170, 175 puts. What we would do is sell a contract stating that we'll buy 100 shares of stock at our strike price. So when I say 170, that's a strike price that would cost about $17,000 to do a contract. So if you have 17 grand around, you can generate income from this. If I was doing a month, huge support at the 155. Decent at that 170. I don't hate 160 either. But I'd probably go, since this is a bull market, AI crypto should do extremely well over the next 3 to 6 months. I'm probably going to play aggressive. So I won't go anything probably below 160, but I probably stay in that 160 to 170 range. So that's where I'm looking at trading Palantir. So $16,000 for one contract. This is 6 days from now. What we say, somewhere between $160 and $170 a contract. I'm sorry, for the strike. So I'm okay with the 160 or 170 strike. I even don't hate the 175 where it's at, but I like it better in these ranges. So the 160, the 165, and the 170 are kind of appealing to me. I think we're in for maybe a small pullback. So 165 and 170 are the most appealing to me. And this is a 6-day thing. So I'm looking at the 165 to 27 delta, which means about a 27% chance that it will be in the money and that this will actually happen. Fairly low. We're going to make $258 doing that. So the way we figure out this percentage, and why are we making $258? Because this is $2.58 per share. Each option contract is 100 shares. And this is the price that we would pay for that. So we need $16,500 in collateral to make this trade. And we're going to make $258 in 6 days. 6 days, $258 divided by 16.5. That's 1.5% trade. Guaranteed. The worst thing that can absolutely happen to you is that Palantir drops below 165 and you buy shares for 165. It could drop down to 140 and you're going to buy shares at 165. But that's why we did a technical analysis so that we knew for a better entry. And if it falls down, it doesn't matter. It'll come back up eventually because it's a really good company. We only do this on good, solid companies. So we can make 1.5% in a single week. If we manage to get that every week for an entire year, that's an 81% return. So what in the world do you need to go out here and find 453,000 stocks for that are doing whatever when we can just do one really, really well? Or maybe 3 or 4. And now maybe if you don't want to do it for an entire week, we can go out a real good rule of thumb for a month. And it pretty much showed me the same thing, somewhere between 155 and 175 is kind of where I would go. So if I wanted to go out a little less aggressive, over a month, I'd probably be a little bit more aggressive though. But see here, I don't like the premiums as much for the time. So this is at the 165 strike. We're going to make $668 on 16,500 in collateral. That's a 4% trade. So it's not even 3 times as much for 4 times as much time. So currently, the week-long options are more profitable. But if we look at a 4% trade over a month period, that's a solid return. Because if we can manage to do that over a course of a year, that's a 48.5% return. That's a 48.5% return. That's incredible. So what in the world do we need to go out here and do all this stuff for? And we can just take advantage of the volatility and make this money. Now this is 16 grand. That's pretty safe for a month out. So look, how long did this take? 5 minutes to really analyze this? I understand this company, but this trade, it only took me about 5 minutes to analyze this. So even if I wanted to go a little safer at the 160, let's say I had $160,000 laying around, or $160,000 in my account, or I've been working for years and I got $160,000 saved up and I don't know what to do with it. Well, this is 16,000. So why don't we take 160 grand? Oops, that's a buy. I'm going to sell it. Sell this put. I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to do 10 contracts because that would be $160,000 because 16 grand would be one contract. And we're going to go 510 a piece right here. See this? $5,100. You'll instantly pocket $5,100. You'll collect 5 grand over 27 days. That's yours, deposited in your account instantly when this trade goes through. The worst thing that happens to you is you buy 100 shares of stock of Palantir at $160 a share, even if it drops below. But this is a good, solid company and asset. You're making 4% on the way in. And then if you get in, you can do the same thing on the other side. So let's say we got in and we're here. Oops, we're going to sell covered call. It's on the opposite side of it. 30 days out, 30 delta. So this 190 strike, it hasn't been wanting to get above there, so that's a pretty good place to sell them, but I'd sell a little more safety, so I'd probably go to 200s. So here, while I'm holding these shares, if I just had 100 shares, I could make $264 a month and a $25 a share upside potential on a 175 stock. So $25 on 175, that's 14% in upside potential from where we are at current price to the $200 strike. So we make that even if it goes up here, plus we get to keep this money. This is the wheel strategy. It's an absolutely incredible strategy to run, especially if you have over 100 grand to run. This alone allows me if I had 10 contracts, $160,000, obviously I could bring in $2,640 every month extra. That's $31,000 a year on 160 grand. That's incredible. That's a 20% return. That's Warren Buffett style returns right there, and you don't really have to do that much. Boom. That's how you sell cash secured puts to get into stocks and make income. And this is how you sell covered calls while you're in them to create income. This is finance and investing just Joey style, and this is what I preach. Build very good companies, long-term share counts, get to loss of 100. The more shares of one, or the more companies that you have 100 shares of, or multiple 100 shares of, the more income you can create throughout time. So let's spend the next 2 to 3 to 5 years really building up our accounts, not just our account value, the share counts. When we build up those share counts, that's when we really become financially free, because we can turn that into income. This is finance and investing just Joey style.